What does a pharmacist do? Well, most people might answer that a pharmacist dispenses the medications that my doctor prescribes. Now, I work with a ton of great pharmacists, and one thing that I don't generally see is excitement about pills in a vial. And this is probably because pharmacists have been trained to do so much more. So what can you get excited about in your community? To find out, let's go beyond the scripts. Everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Scripts. I'm your host, Will Tuft with Pioneer RX. And when we started this podcast, we really wanted to focus on people who are passionate and enjoying their profession outside of dispensing medications alone. And that takes so many different forms. But today we have a double guest with us. We have Ewa and Gus Tzaferos joining us from the Kennedy Pharmacy in Stratford, New Jersey. And this is a group that you've definitely seen out on the road, very active in the world of pharmacy. And thank you guys so much for carving out a little bit of time with us, because when you talk about pharmacy owners who are passionate and enjoying what they do, I think you guys definitely come to mind.
Well, thanks for having us on. We enjoy working together. We try to have fun. Definitely enjoy going out to the conferences and seeing everyone live and in person. But yeah.
I totally agree. Going to conferences is definitely one of the high points of our work life. And be honest, I wanted to mention that one of the first conference that the two of us went together was actually Pioneer Conference 3 years ago in Nashville. So great location. You definitely attracted us to show up there as a couple, and that was awesome. And since then, we've been going to a lot of those conferences.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys definitely are visible out on the conference circuit. I know a lot of our viewers will probably recognize you guys if they're watching this video. You guys are also really active online and do a great job of sharing your excitement online. And I think a lot of our viewers may recognize you from your social media posts that you guys do a great job with, by the way, of just having a great kind of mix of patient education and like team engagement, and also educating your patients on processes at your own pharmacy. I thought was really interesting, all the way back from COVID to, now with, weight loss programs. So a lot going on there, online and offline. So I know you guys are super busy.
Yeah, I can't take any credit for that. That's all Ewa. I'm social media illiterate.
Well, but he does participate in those videos, and I think he's become more comfortable with it. And the whole team sees that it's working, and we love to engage our patients through it. And what we've seen it basically with the location that we're right now. We're inside of Rowan School of Medicine in Stratford. We started in this pharmacy about 4 years ago. It was right when the COVID started, right? So when we started, the foot traffic was closed off in the building. So we had to become a little bit more active, to show people couldn't physically come to the store. So we had to document a lot of things. And then I would say that the first adventure with a video, it wasn't even a reel back then, it was just YouTube video, is when the vaccines became available, and we had to figure out how to bring that traffic in safely, and so we don't have too many people in the pharmacy at the same time. And our waiting room is rather narrow. You can probably see it in some of our reels. So we had to come up with a solution of how we can control people coming in on time. So we came up with a video where we show people where to pull up on the outside of the building. Meet me under a blue awning. I'll be wearing a green vest, and I'm showing people what they're about to see. So from that moment, when people were making their appointments to come in for the vaccine appointments, they were sent in their confirmation a video of what it looks like to get in and get that shot. So
the video actually started, we were recording in the car as we were pulling into the parking lot, just showing people exactly where to go, and showing people where to walk into the building, and then just using just a regular iPhone. It looked kind of cool too, because the way the iPhone worked, it almost looked like we had a drone that was going through and taking you all the way into the pharmacy. I like that video a lot.
That was cool. And then we're also making it fun for our patients, because we feel like we like to bring fun into this, because a lot of people have barriers, especially with the brand new vaccine. We wanted to remove some of that fear when people are arriving, because not everybody was almost convinced, am I doing the right thing, getting immunizations and things like that. So when people were arriving around the building and meeting me under giant big blue awning, I probably misplanned this because I was wearing this big green vest, but then it became hot. It was May and June, and I'm still wearing that vest. But I promised all those patients they're going to be seeing that vest there, right? So, and I was waving them when their car was arriving. I was just pulling them in, and they all were given a time at what time they're supposed to arrive. And they were, I would say 95% of people followed the directions from the video, because we explained to them how the flow of it is going to be important, because I will be bringing 4 people at the time into the building. We'll take care of them. And during the time that I'm in the building, they're not going to see the green vest outside. So we learned that giving people a lot of directions removes their fear, or removes any most of the barriers. So starting from that video 4 years ago, we started to notice that it's great to explain to people through videos of what's going on and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely no stranger to vest expectations, but as so what a crazy time, because many options for getting those vaccinations were, there's so much misinformation, and it was just, a lot of fear about the virus itself and everything going on. And, locally, so many of the options had the National Guard helping, which was, tremendous service, but only kind of adds an element of fear when, there's a uniformed presence. And, all of it was not very comforting. And so to have a connection to the person and to the process, and to be dealing with somebody that you can trust, even though you guys were, again, fairly new at that option, or at that time, right?
But then engaging the community, having videos or photos with the local fire department, getting vaccinated, all of that stuff really, it helps set people's mind at ease.
So I'll back up a little bit, because I see that Gus mentioned the fire department. So when we first started in this community, and that's about 1 or 2 towns over from where we used to run a pharmacy. So we were entering into brand new community that we need to learn their needs and everything. Even though we're so close, we wanted to get to know the community better here. It's a town of about 7,000 people with surrounding other towns that also use us. So we'll probably have customers mostly within 10-mile radius. So when we first started here, first of all, we had to focus on revamping the pharmacy. It was a little outdated. We loved the old owner, but I feel like he was ready to retire. And he,
Yeah, self-admittedly, he would absolutely tell you this himself. He was just tired. And the pharmacy hadn't been updated in a while. It needed some work to be done.
And I'm going to give him a shout out. Hi, Greg, because he visits us 3 times a week. He loves to pop in and see his old patients. So when we got here, we were like, what would be the best way for us to get to know our community? So I don't know. A lot of times we have those divine interventions of ideas. It just shows up and we just go for it and we figure it out. So for us, it was, hey, well, what about if we reach out to the fire department? They know their community best. They know everybody. They know what their needs are. So our first thing right off the bat when we got started here was reach out to the fire department and create relationships with those firefighters. We sent them some pizzas from a local pizza shop. So we started to connect with those little businesses and learn more about what's going on. It didn't take long.
No.
Entering into Facebook groups for a specific town helped. So we were able to just befriend a lot of people in the area and, tell them what we're doing. So
befriending the town historian and vaccinating.
Yes. So just using any connection, any relationship just to connect people. And I feel like I wanted to admit to everyone, for people who don't know that, on our team, Gus is the clinical person. He's the pharmacist in charge. I'm actually just, I don't want to say just, but I handle everything business, and I'm non-clinical. But I love making connections. I love making people, feel good and giving them a good experience. So we teamed up like this with Gus, and we've been really working together for about 2 years. Because in the past we were kind of remote, but we had to make it work. We're married, and we had to be a good team and find our new dynamic in that. So
we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
To the point that I can talk about work 24/7. Like, that's my passion. I have an idea, I can just like Gus about it after work and things like that. But I had to find a space where I needed to respect our marriage like this, and reserve those meaningful work conversations for the work time, basically, so we can actually enjoy our marriage as well, right? So I did realize that, and so right now when I have an idea and it's 9 p.m., I send myself an email. So in the morning when I check my emails, I bring it up to our team. So
yeah, the kids are tired of hearing about vaccines and GLP-1 agonists.
Oh, sure.
Hear any more about it?
Yeah, the work-life balance is a challenge for any business owner, but being married and taking that home with you when especially when you are passionate, and I bet you do have to really be intentional about setting those aside and not having that all consuming.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And there were so many great couples that we met through conferences and couples, and they're making it work. Like Joe and Ashley, Travis and Suni, Jesse and Michael, Amina Ahmed, Scott and Ann. Like, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody else, but like, you guys know who you are, and it's just so amazing. And we actually take a lot of inspiration from those interactions when we see them, and learning a lot from those couples. Mm-hmm. So basically, I would say if I could give any advice to any pharmacists out there that may be newer to their community, or maybe they've been around but they wanted to expand more, always think about those relationships, and what organizations are out there in your community. So for us, because we started right dead in COVID and then vaccines were available, we actually noticed that there was a lot of homebound patients in this area, and nobody was addressing the homebound situation, like how can these folks be vaccinated? So because we're an independent pharmacy, we can create a program like overnight. We don't have to wait for anybody's approvals or anything like that. We just have to sit down and figure out how we can make it work. So we actually started a homebound program for those patients, and that helped us to be recognized in this area as like very caring team. And people were giving us reviews and referring us to, their friends and family, just because we show how much we cared. Gus was literally, how did that look for you when you were done work at 5 p.m.?
Honestly, just like a lot of other pharmacists out there, especially independent pharmacists, getting done at, whenever the pharmacy closes and you're not going home, you're going to go make a few home visits. Saturdays our pharmacy closes at 1:00. So Saturday, I wasn't going home on Saturdays. Saturday afternoon was for, I guess, getting in the car and driving around South Jersey and just hitting as many of the homebound patients that I could. Because once word got out that we were making home visits to vaccinate people, either the patients or we had physicians that were calling us up and asking for that service. So there was definitely a need there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was homebound at that point, so.
Yeah, but the patients that just couldn't, the patients that couldn't get out.
Right.
The bedridden patients. There's more than I realized, actually.
Yeah. So as a small team, there's 5 of us on our team. We're not going to lie. We would like to grow. We're working on a few long-term game projects that will allow us to expand in the future. But we realized it's like all of us were kind of used to, just dispensing in the past, right? And then the PIRs just came in. We never had to worry about any of these extra services. We were doing okay and things like that. So, but in the face of all the PBM abuse. I'm actually not quoting it. It's real. So let's remove the quotes. Being faced with all the PBM abuses and unfair payment models, we just had to, as owners, to just step in and learn from other owners and start to see what can we implement. And at that point, I feel like we also had to step up to the game as leaders for our team, because our team, they were used to just filling prescriptions or being a clerk or things like that. And all of a sudden, we're asking them to become salesperson, right? We're asking them to promote new programs or have the confidence in just spreading the message of what is our pharmacy working on, right? So now I feel like we needed some help. Here comes Travis to help. Like, that's when we just jumped on and asked him, how we can be best leaders for our team, and support them, mentor them into, polishing some of those skills maybe that they didn't have, and help us. And I wanted to give our team a big shout out. Kayla and Julie. Julie handled it great. She's our champion in several programs that are running. And Kayla, who loves the front, we're a big snack destination because we're inside of School of Medicine, and people would have to literally give up a great parking spot to go get a snack somewhere else. So she handles the snacks beautifully, but also during those interactions, small 1, 2, 3 minute interactions with customers, she had to find a way to tell them about our programs, like our Narcan initiative. We are in New Jersey. And Gus, would you say when did that start?
January of 23 is when the Narcan program started here in New Jersey. And it's a fantastic program where the governor came out and said the goal is to get a box of Narcan in every home in New Jersey. So it's a free and anonymous program. The state reimburses the pharmacy. They don't just give us boxes of Narcan. We have to purchase it ourselves and then distribute it. The state reimburses us. It's all great, but then we can offer it to anybody that's 14 years old and older. And so the bottom line is everyone that comes through the door, we're absolutely going to talk to them about it and offer it to them. And we're going to get out in the community and let people know that this program exists, and encourage people to come in and pick a box up. And they can get it with every visit. So if somebody comes to the pharmacy 3 times in a week, if they want it, they could get 3 boxes.
I was going to say, that's one of those things that, a few years ago, I think a lot of police cruisers didn't have that on board. And now it's really commonplace. And, I hope I never need my spare tire and I hope I never need my fire extinguisher. But, even if you're not in a lifestyle where, you anticipate needing that for yourself, you never know. I was actually on a visit to a city once and encountered a situation where, had I had that on me, I could have saved someone's life, just passing by on the way to lunch. It's part of the world we live in now that, you never know when you could make a huge difference in being prepared.
Yeah, we had a couple of people come in and tell us that they were stopped at a red light. There was a car in front of them that wasn't moving when the light turned green. And after it cycled through a couple times, the person got out to check, and the driver in front of them was overdosing right there in the car, was just completely passed out. We have Wawa's here, like a convenience store, and told us that they've seen people passed out in front of Wawa. In the staircase in their apartment building. And these are all places where the Narcan that we distributed actually made a difference. And those people came back in to get another box because they had used the one that they had already received.
So a lot of pharmacies in New Jersey, because that's why I would definitely recommend for anybody who's listening in there to check with their state Medicaid to see if there is a program already in place. But if not, to maybe encourage them to have something like this in their states. And if they would like to reach out to us, we would provide some good, good recommendations and even share of how the program is going. Because I'll tell you, Will, you're going to be proud of us. We actually got a call from Medicaid that we were a leading pharmacy in our state with the distribution, and they wanted to learn from us of how we took that initiative, what we're doing. So we shared with them that we have a bunch of signs out there in front of the pharmacy, in the lobby. And not only that, we have signs in the pharmacy, and we're also engaged patients. Like, hey, do you currently have a naloxone, a life-saving tool at home? So we not only just put signs out there, but we're being proactive about it and engaging people. So a lot of times, some people might not even know what it is. So we have an opportunity to explain. And I can't even say, like, so many lives were saved, even if a few of them were saved because of our initiative. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I actually have a contact at New Jersey Medicaid now that reaches out to us to share, so we can share ideas. And I suggested that I would be happy to maybe record a video, again, going back to our video ideas, to share with the state of what we're doing. And maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, we expanded the initiative. So right now, we actually, when we make our deliveries to our patients, so whatever the route is, if there is time, the delivery driver will stop by in local businesses that we're passing by to drop us information that we have that available in a pharmacy. And that sparks conversation as well, When we go to events, some health fairs and things like that, we bring a bunch of information with us. So that's why we're so successful with it. And, and we do like that New Jersey Medicaid reimburses us fairly for our initiative. And it's a great way for pharmacies to make an impact on their communities,
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is it, an initiative where the pharmacy has, some positive, bottom line impact. So many pharmacies find so many ways to contribute, and it's not always reimbursed fairly.
Right.
Well, I will tell you something. We did see the reimbursement for it to drop down considerably at some point. And when they reached out to us, my contact reached out to give them ideas. We actually brought it up and said, you know what? Because she said, how can we make other pharmacies more successful with it? I said, you know what? I noticed that the reimbursement went down. I wonder if this is one of the barriers for those pharmacies that they don't, because we buy them in bulk, right? So we take the risk of stocking them in our pharmacy, right? And past expiration date, we're not going to be giving them out then. So
right.
We need to manage our inventory. So, and I feel like if you guys consider to bring the reimbursement back, that possibly that would be a better initiative I would say better success rate for pharmacies, because now it does take time for us to. Sometimes they're out of stock. We have to call multiple wholesalers. Our team takes time for us to have this initiative going, so we're never out of the product, right? So
yeah, and honestly, well, I told Eva, I know it feels good to go out and to talk to a representative from Medicaid and let them know, yeah, you really should be paying us more for this product, but not a chance in the world that's really going to make a difference. Then I don't know, a week after that phone call, they actually increased the reimbursement back up to very close to where it used to be. So, it never hurts to just throw the idea out there, as crazy as it sounds.
Now, do I have a full confirmation that this was my doing? I have no idea, but the coincidence and the timing of it definitely makes me feel like maybe I had something to do with it, because I communicated that could be one of the barriers, right? So I always encourage people, talk, ask, be annoying, just deliver it. So this is how we run our business,
Yeah, so it seems like, especially when you guys opened that pharmacy, that was a time when, you had completely new challenges that I feel like a lot of businesses may have said, well, once COVID, we opened the business at a bad time, and we're just going to, try to survive. There's loans available, whatever. but you guys kind of, it sounds like you took the challenge head on. And even the last, the years since, I feel like we're just now getting into some kind of normalcy again. The PBM pressures have been very difficult the last few years. So when you guys left the pharmacy that you called home before, how much of a surprise was that transition? Do you still have the other pharmacy, or was that a complete exit? How did that work? And how are things settling in now?
Yeah, the other pharmacy, I opened with a partner in 2007, and we just kind of had a clean break in 2020. She bought out my half, and I just walked away. Left over there, knowing that we were going to be doing something here at this location, and it was definitely it was a shock in the beginning because at that time, we kind of thought COVID is going to come and go. It'll be here, a couple of months, this will, we'll forget about this. And it just, like everyone knows, it just kept growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger. So it was very, very challenging in the beginning. But like you said, we saw the challenges in front of us and said, we're not just going to lay down and deal with this. We need to adjust. Everything's got to change. So vaccines definitely were a huge part of that in the beginning. The DIR fees weren't getting any easier just because COVID was around. So you had all the same challenges of running the pharmacy with way fewer people coming into our location. And you weren't going to be getting any new customers or anything like that. So the only thing you could do was really focus on the vaccines. And so we did that for a while, but then eventually that starts to go away, and you have to pivot and look for other opportunities and start doing different things.
And it wasn't easy. It was a hard work, and it continues to be a hard work. We're always faced with new challenges, and they're always trying to pivot. I remember we decided that we had some time we're open Monday through Saturday, and it was like towards the beginning of us owning this pharmacy. And just to give you the timeline, we exited from the previous pharmacy. It was February 2020, and then we started working on acquiring this pharmacy right when we're done, and then it got completed in June 2020. But the COVID was in mid-March, right? So the fears of what's going to happen, and then finding out that this pharmacy that we were interested to buy was close to traffic. They were not allowing med students come through. They were seeing patients remotely, and that was crazy. I don't even know how we survive it, but I guess they say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? I remember this one Sunday we were like, hey, let's clean out the pharmacy because there was some clutter that we wanted to get rid of.
A lot of clutter.
We wanted to turn an office that was just filled with stuff that no longer was serving the pharmacy. We just wanted to get rid of it. And there was a giant dumpster at the end of the parking lot here. And we decided we're going to do it on that Sunday, but it was raining. It was raining horribly. And Gus also flew out his back a few days ago. So guess who was going to do all the lifting, right? Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for the great timing, bro. So what happened is he was able to help me make the trash bags, right? We put them on the cart, but I was loading it to my Jeep, and I was driving around in the rain and throwing it into the dumpster. And I remember this one moment that I decided to climb on the dumpster because the bag was especially heavy. I couldn't just throw it up there. And I fell so badly, just crushed my knee. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to curse on this podcast.
It's fine. They could fix it in post.
I was at the back of the campus with laying on the floor with knee that just hurt so bad. And I was like, what the, you know what I mean? What's going on? Why does this have to be so hard? Because, I just fall down here, I scream. Nobody could hear me because there was nobody there. So these are the ugly parts of of working. But hey, the knee healed up in a month, and totally it was fine. But it was crazy. So, but now because of this, we have a beautiful wellness room in our pharmacy that eventually became a wellness room. we put a word on it, like with some vines and neon lights that says wellness room before we even started using it as wellness room. So in my fashion, I like to announce to the universe, like, this is going to be a wellness room. And people were coming back by the door and saying, hey, what's in that wellness room? So we say, hey, anything that happens there is just for anything's best, I would say, anything for the best well-being. I was doing my reconciliations in that wellness room. It was office/wellness room, right?
Sure.
So
financial wellness.
correct. And now when the opportunity came around, when right now we're working with CPSN, PPC at home, special purpose network, something that we're working with Amina, Swat, Kim, and Dr. Lewis. It's a program that helps patients improve their function at home. We're focusing the model around 4Ms, what matters to patient, their mobility, medication, and mentation. When that opportunity came around, literally, that was not this year, but last year at Pioneer Conference.
Yeah.
They just happened to mention that this is happening, that they're going to be developing this special network, special purpose network.
Oh, really? We took the first class 2 Pioneers ago.
Right. Okay, so let's back up. When we first tell the story about like the first Pioneer Conference that we went to.
Yeah, so I was going to the conference down in Nashville myself, and there was an add-on class, add-on workshop at the end. The Sunday when I would normally, when everyone was going home, and I saw the name Amina attached to it. And again, like, I'm not on Facebook a lot, but it just sounded familiar, and I felt like Eva. I heard her say that name before, so I called her and asked her. I'm like, is this? Am I crazy? This name Amina is really sticking out. She's doing this workshop. She's like, take whatever the class is. You have to take.
Sign up for it.
Yeah. So I enrolled, and by the time, I guess, and then you ended up enrolling and coming with me.
And then I was starting to become friendly with some of the people, such as Jen, or through social media. Jen, Joe, Ben, like, we're starting to use some of their services even. And so I was starting to get this FOMO that I'm not going to get to meet these people in person. And I think at this time, Jen was organizing like some kind of meetup at the arcade. So I was like, Gus, what would it look like if I join you on this? Even though I'm non-clinical, I almost felt like what am I doing there? Like, right?
At that point, Eva was only doing reconciliations for us.
Yeah.
Nothing in the pharmacy. Everything was being done from home.
I was working remotely. So anyway, long story short, we jump on this, we go together, and then we meet all these people, and then we attend the workshop with Amina. So I'm telling everybody who's listening here, just always attend the extra stuff. It's really worth it. And during that workshop, we realized that we'd really like to do her training in person, right? So
that's when we decided we were going to go to the, what is it called? All immersive?
All immersive.
With the Avant Institute?
Yeah, in Avant in North Carolina.
Just to learn more about, physician collaborations and how we can help physicians. And we are inside of School of Medicine. There's so many doctor offices here. So we wanted to see how we can improve those communications to help their patients, help our patients, and things like that. So we ended up going there and doing that. Was a 2 or 3 day course.
Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. It was awesome. So we get to meet with Amina, Swad, and her team, Olivia, and if I'm forgetting somebody, really, I'm sorry. So because of this, we made this meaningful connection with that team. And at that time, I said to Gus, I don't know what it's going to take, but I would really love to work with these people. I know they're in North Carolina, but what would it take? I didn't see that there would be a way to work together. So guess what? The following year, we'll go to Pioneer, and we happened to be at the same dinner table with a bunch of those folks, Yeah,
and I was just talking with SWAT, and we're just going back and forth, just talking about, just anything that was coming up. And he mentions that they're looking for a pharmacy to start this new physiatry pharmacy at home collaboration. And we're going back and forth, and then he looks at me. He's like, "You're in New Jersey, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "That's where our doctor is. Our doctor is in New Jersey." I'm like,
Oh, perfect.
"Oh, fantastic." So, where's your pharmacy located? I told him we're in Stratford, New Jersey. So he, and that we're in inside the Rowan School of Medicine. So SWAT reached out to Dr. Lewis, and we come to find out Dr. Lewis actually has an association or an affiliation with the Rowan School of Medicine and their Institute for Successful Aging, which is just unbelievable because our pharmacy shares a wall with the Institute for Successful Aging. So
and we're actually right now utilizing their conference room.
Yeah, we're in their conference room right now.
The pharmacy is way too loud. We asked them to use their room, right? So
how crazy is that? You go down to the Connect conference to connect with somebody in your own building.
Exactly.
Well, he doesn't actually physically work here, but he has a lot of relationships with
Sure.
here, and
he is credentialed with the Institute. It's just the odds of it were just unbelievable.
So basically, we seemed like it was like a dream come true to be considered by, Amina and her team for us to jump on this project with them. We were immediate yes, as you know. And I had a waiter right next to me, and I was about to order espresso martini that I need to stay awake past 10 p.m. But the adrenaline just shoot up right there. I was like, I don't think I needed it at that time, So we were just enjoying the company and talking about opportunities and things like that. So I feel like I really, really believe that meeting everybody at those conferences, networking, learning from each other, and attending those programs is so beneficial. I believe that the reason that we're still in business is because of that. There was just we couldn't have it out by ourselves. Absolutely not.
Yeah, so it sounds like you guys have really, not been afraid to pivot. I know you bring your team members with you sometimes. I've met Julie at some conference, I think in Nashville.
Kansas.
Kansas City.
NCPA.
That was it. Yep.
You love to say it?
Yep. So, I remember meeting Julie and, so you guys have definitely gone out and captured those ideas. And I see this in every classroom that I sit in where, the audience is excited. They see an opportunity. They analyze the opportunity. And then, inevitably, sometimes it's not the right one for them, or sometimes it could be the perfect opportunity to them. But the follow through is hard because when you get back home, now you got to catch up from being away and it's business as usual, so how do you keep that excitement when you do see those ideas? How do you say this is an idea that we need to follow up and follow through on? And then, how do you implement that and get your team to share that excitement?
Well, when I think you hear it at almost every conference now, if you're going to go home and, you're going to hear, like you just said, you're going to hear all of these great ideas. You're going to have a list of all the different things that you're going to do. The bottom line is, if you can get one good idea from a conference, one or two is phenomenal, and actually implement that and make a difference. And I'm not talking about small little changes like logging into Pioneer and starting, changing a setting or something. A lot of times, you're sitting in the classroom or in the lecture hall during Connect, and I'll log into Pioneer while I'm listening to you and say like, oh, I didn't know Pioneer could do that, and log into Pioneer right there on my laptop and make the change right away. Not little changes like that, but if you can make a connection and start a PPC at home type program, or long-term care at home, or working with community health workers, like a GLP-1 program, anything like a major change like that, and learn about it from other people that are at the conference, learn what they're doing, bring all of those ideas home and say, we can do this, then, that's something that's the whole point for going to the conferences.
But you show up, this is what we brought from the last one. We started this program for compounded injectable semaglutide, now also tirzepatide. When we made this banner, we're only working with semaglutide, but we brought it from the most recent conference at the end of May. We shout out to Nicolette and Jan for, exciting us about it and learning from their webinars and everything. And we got our first scripts. So the program's running. Physicians in the building invited us to a meeting. I think it's happening next week, so we can discuss, everything. Because we're actually, the physicians in this building are part of a bigger hospital system, so they have it's like almost more work than if you're working with private sector, right? So
Sure.
Everything has to be checked off. So we're growing it, but it takes one step at a time. And sometimes
There's a lot of red tape.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like nothing gets accomplished in a day or two, but then when you look back a full month, you're just like, holy crap, this is awesome, look how much we've done. And it's only been 4 years here, but if we really think about it, that brings me joy because I know we actually made a difference, even though sometimes I feel like I didn't accomplish things. And I'm notorious for making too long of a to-do list for the day. So sometimes when I don't cross everything off, it makes me feel like I sucked, I was like, but hey, it's just that I keep fueling myself. And talking about PPC at home, this model was featured recently in America's Pharmacist. This is Amina's Pharmacist, and engaging the 4M model. So if you guys received it in your pharmacy, definitely check out. This is a great program that was recently, and kudos to Dr. Lewis, Amina, and Swad. That model got accepted by CMS into GUIDE. So starting next year, there'll be a lot of funding and grants for it. So it's a great program to look into to help your patient improve your function. And it's a cover article that's about eight pages spread, right? So definitely check it out. We're happy that our pharmacy was mentioned in it as well. There's pictures of our patient here. So it's totally awesome. First of all, the picture here, that's a pharmacist, Jack. So he's the champion in Avant Pharmacy for the program.
Gotcha.
So I did that what was I there for? CPSN mid-year meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to be there, and I was only 40 minutes away from Avant Pharmacy, and I had to go visit.
He said, make the drive. Sure.
Yeah.
Make the drive. SWAT picked us up because he was already there, so we got a free ride from SWAT to visit the pharmacy. And then while we're at the pharmacy, it was me and some other girl that I met. I forget her name right now, but she happened to be there. And we just, while waiting for SWAT at the pharmacy for something, we're like, why don't we just do this whole thing? And that reel happens to have the most views on our social media as far as, our reel is concerned. So that was kind of cool, and I enjoyed the process.
Yeah. So I'm starting to see a theme here where, you guys are definitely independent, but not alone. It seems like you guys are really leveraging your pharmacy community, both, on a professional B2B side, but also in a more casual, just, ecosystem that you're living in with, sharing your experiences with all of these other pharmacy rock stars that, you've seen it at Connect or you've seen at other trade shows. So I think that's, probably a big part of it, not just being involved in important organizations like CPESN, but also just staying active in that pharmacy community and leveraging your experiences and helping each other seems to be a big key to that, not only on the business side, but probably, just like having a coach in the gym or a personal trainer, but keeping you focused and passionate.
Yeah, there's a lot of smart people in the pharmacy community, a lot of smart people that are going to these conferences, and it's just fun to be able to pick somebody's brains, see what they're doing, figure out, what's working, what they did that didn't work, and just bring all of that back home with you and say, they've already done the heavy lifting. So let's just let's see if we can implement this program and run with it.
And then the ability to not be afraid to ask, just a lot of people. We underestimate the value of being able to help, like we sometimes we forget that people naturally like to help. If you ask, like, I feel really good when somebody asks me for something and I'm able to help. I will get out of my way to help them. I'm really mad if I can't help somebody, right? That actually goes along a lot with our mission statement for our pharmacy. And I actually brought it here with me because I didn't memorize it, but if you don't mind, I'll share it with my audience. So we have a big, poster when you first walk into the pharmacy, and it says, what we most love about operating our own independent pharmacy is that we get to decide what kind of personalized experience we want to create for our patients, customers, and providers on the spot based on their needs. It actually excites us to go above and beyond for them. It's our goal to light up that sparkle in their eyes when they realize they are being treated with care and compassion. So is it like medical sounding? No. Sparkle in your eyes? Are you kidding me? It's a pharmacy. Like, I think it took a little convincing for Gus to approve this, for me to put the word.
Are we really going to have the word sparkle in this?
Let me tell you, it's like right across from a bench when somebody sometimes has to wait for something. There's no long wait times in our pharmacy, but sometimes somebody has to sit there. And we had so many people say, oh my God, I love your mission statement. Like, it's just so personal, and it removes that medical feeling. Like, it removes that transactional feeling. Like, we're here to help people heal, to give them what they need. And I would say that along with this mission is, yes, we have patients that maybe have 20 different prescriptions, right? And they pick it up. And because they're med synced, like, it's a lot to pick up all at once. And sometimes that feeling feels heavy for me when I happen to be ringing them out, right? So how else? We already have this patient population. How else can we help that patient now? So yes, for now, we're dispensing the medication to them. But what if we can sign them up for the PPC at home program if they're eligible? What else can we be doing? Now, a lot of patients can't get their GLPs, right? Because the brand's not covered, things like that. We brought them the solution. It is out of pocket, hey, but we are able to stock it. They're not going to call a pharmacy and we don't have it. So, yes.
Also, a few $100s is much easier to deal with than $1,800 or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now, hey, like, the way we see it is we have our patient population, and it keeps on adding. We have more people trying to use our service. Sometimes we actually cannot take on a patient, especially in this current industry. If their plan is, if their drug regimen is just mostly brands, that right now means a few $100s lost per month for this patient. It's hard to take on a new patient like this. That would mean a loss for a pharmacy, right? So we have to, this is the part that I don't like, and this keeps me up at night when we can't help somebody, but
it's so difficult. It's so unfair when you have somebody that's frustrated or not having a good time with the pharmacy that they're currently with. They want to switch over to your pharmacy, and to have to tell them that you're not able to help them out because if you did, you wouldn't be able to pay the bills. It's definitely one of the worst parts of the current landscape of pharmacy.
I was going to say that's probably a challenge that a lot of pharmacies are going to be facing this summer with, so many Walgreens closing down near them. I'm sure that's going to be a challenge that a lot of independents can relate to, where sure, there's a lot of prescriptions out there to grab, but that prescription volume isn't always good.
Right.
And that's the sad part, because it never used to have to be that way. But on the flip side, that forced us to explore different avenues to enter into preventative care for our patient and focus on that and bring that on, study it, bring it on, and hopefully allow patients to, while we're helping them on the get your function better at home, cognitive health better, like while we're helping with that, they can get off of certain medication, or of course with the supervision of the provider. But that's how we're hoping to shift that into more wellness. And we can still help the same population, but they'll be coming in not to pick up 20 prescriptions. Maybe we'll be able to bring it down to 15, right? And then,
Yeah, I mean, how many pharmacies are going to work with you to get you off your medications?
right.
Sure.
So sometimes we feel like we're trying to turn it into a backwards pharmacy, right? Like,
Yeah, it is so interesting to see like functional health and functional wellness and the trend for a desire to deprescribe and manage those symptoms through lifestyle change and coaching at the pharmacy. It's pretty exciting in that realm.
I like that you mentioned that because, like, for example, 7 months ago, I realized that we're working on so many long-term projects, and I knew that that's going to bring additional stress to our lives. So I actually made a choice for myself on my 45th birthday, November 18th, that I'm starting something. Like, let's go. Like my diet, I started seeing acupuncturists. I knew that projects are lining up, and I need to support my body to have the least amount of stress so I can take on those initiatives. So I actually lost 35 pounds in 7 months. I'm seeing acupuncturist once a month, and I go to the gym, and I go to a fun gym. Like if I'm going to stick with something, it has to be fun. So I'm starting doing Zumba. I'm doing all kinds of fun things, and yoga. And so I was able to do that for myself. Now, in Gus, tell your situation. How are you supporting yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, we used to work out a lot. Well, I guess going into 2019, at around, I think it was 2019. And, we were doing CrossFit all the time. And I ended up throwing out my back and in one of those workouts. And honestly, ever since then, anytime I try to work out or do anything that's a little just a little strenuous, I'll start to feel it in my back. And once my back goes out, it's difficult to walk, it's difficult to sleep. Like, you just can't do anything.
A grumpy Greek, basically.
I can relate.
Yeah, it's.
I'll never do deadlifts again.
That's exactly what I was doing. Actually, it was a deadlift. Now, we're at a position, we started offering the GLP-1 program, and I mean, it seems for me like this is a good fit. I need something to help help me get some of the weight off, because until I do that, I'm not going to release any of the pressure that's going on, that's being applied to my back. And things, I would have to do a drastic nutritional change to lose the weight that I need to lose without adding on any exercise. So, having this program and starting it and offering it to our patients, and now being able to tell them, we're not just offering it to you. We believe in it. I'm doing the same program. I think Saturday, I just took the first shot, and, just going to see how it goes and share that experience with our patients.
And we're using that just to promote the program and giving people the confidence that, the product that we're offering, we're using ourselves. But we also, in a combination of our two approaches, like I took the approach with nutrition, and because I was able physically to go to the gym and all those things, but there was no right or wrong. Like there's candidates that can start off with that because that would benefit their, short-term goals, maybe drop some weight so they can pick up some exercise. So we're showing that, yes, in one family, in one household, we have someone that is doing this program while I'm doing that, and they're both fine. We're both supporting, and then we can, I feel like patients relate to us better in that way, because in one household, we're doing two completely opposite things, and no right or wrong. It's just what works for an individual. And then we promote the hell out of it. We do videos, we show it, and get engagement.
Yeah. And, how great to have that authenticity of personal experience to share with those patients. So we're almost out of time, but as we're winding down into, the second half of the year, I know the DIR hangover or the apocalypse. There are a lot of great names for it that we're looking for. Hopefully, we're yet again entering a new normal. in that realm.
There's been a lot of normals recently.
There have been a lot of new normals as of late, but hopefully the at least more predictable times are at hand. Could you share your experience with moving through 2024 so far, and what you're experiencing and what you're excited for?
Yeah, 2024 started the double DIRs. What was, I guess, was it May is when the Caremark took its final, I guess, double DIR, and the DIR that was left over from last year. So we were prepared for it. We cut down on our inventory and tried to build the bank account up as much as we could, because we knew we needed extra buffer for all of the double DIR fees that were going to be taken out. But now that we're past that, for us, the main focus has absolutely in, the past several weeks, past month and a half, let's say, is all about the GLP-1 program and getting this out there to as many patients and making sure everyone knows what we're doing. Making sure we still have doctors that are telling us that they don't think it's FDA approved and that we're doing something that's not legal, which is completely wrong. I had one physician fax me a snippet from from an article on the FDA website that said this is not FDA approved, but she only included the snippet. She didn't include what was written before or what was included after, which mentioned all the situations in which this is approved, which is exactly what we're doing. So just trying to get out there and make sure people understand what we're doing and educating and trying to find people that this is a good fit for, and just trying to help.
Yeah, fantastic. So as the surprises wind down on the DIR side, do you feel like that frees up some bandwidth for diving into a new challenge, or do you have one queued up for the later part of the year?
Well, right now, it seems like we're in the middle of starting several new projects. They all feel like they're just started now. There's the PPC at Home program, there's the GLP-1 program. We're working on a program with community health workers, and the School of Medicine here. Lately, we've I went and with a couple of representatives from the School of Medicine and gave a lecture to a long-term care facility that's in the area on high-risk medications and their use in the elderly, like the Beers list, but expanded past that. But a lot of it was the Beers list. Working with the School of Medicine and their nursing program, where we went to another long-term care facility.
300 residents that live in this big building that the school has had teamed up with for a while now, and they're helping the students that go there and help the residents. And now they wanted to have pharmacists to be on their team, and this is the first time they incorporated a pharmacist to help with that program. And who best to pick than Gus, who's already here in the School of Medicine, and over those 4 years, he became kind of like an expert to go to for those folks, right? Which is awesome. So we feel really good about, being able to help all these organizations, and feels really good that they recognize us for
being valued.
Correct. There's no price on this, that's what gets us excited and continue going. And like this one time, a person that's in the building that's responsible for community health worker program, he was coming in to buy his usual snacks, and he looked different. He was all suited up. So the usual talkative person in me had to ask, why are you wearing a suit today? And he said, well, we have a federal agency visiting us today.
Feds are coming in.
They're coming in to audit us, which it's a routine action, but they're here today to review all the processes that we're doing with this one grant for community health workers. And so we started talking about the program. I said, I had no idea you were the coordinator of those grants. That's awesome. And I said, what is your challenge? And he said, well, the biggest challenge is that we need to find them 100 hours of field work. And I said, oh my God, like my light bulbs opened up. I said, we're part of CPSN 3,500 clinically integrated pharmacies. We have need for community health workers, especially in this program that right now we're running, right? Because they will be very valuable. So why don't we connect you guys with this? Long story short, maybe there was like 3 to 4 meetings with SWAT, with Dr. Lewis, with the School of Medicine. The Dean of Medicine approved it, and boom, we're ready to go. So now community health workers from school will be able to participate in our program and bring valuable, insight and everything. So this is what I most love about the job, like just connecting the dots and making something work, put people in touch. And so we're working on that. Additionally, we have a newer doctor in the building. She's a vascular surgeon and vein specialist. She approached us if we could carry a line of really good compression solutions for her patients that are required for procedures and things like that. We're right on it, so now we're selling that. So there's always something new, and it feels so good when these physicians feel so safe to come to us and ask us, do we want to be a part of something? And we're seeing that fruit happening this year a lot, with all those long-term gains developing.
Especially with the PPC at home. We talked about this with a lot of the physicians that were in the building, but then once it was approved through CMS, that kind of gave it a whole new like a whole new level. Like now they looked at it like wow, oh, this is legitimate. This is something that's real. So now they're all really paying attention to what we're doing, and again, they really turned around and they see that we're not just kind of talking the talk, that we're actually doing these things.
Love it. Yeah, and I think that's pretty evident to anyone who's looking in or been following you guys. I've enjoyed following you guys on social media and seeing you when I can out on the road. But that excitement is definitely contagious, and it's been really fun seeing you guys grow over the years.
And we're always very excited to take lots of lunch selfies with our friends. As a matter of fact, let's do one right now, because let's do a quick selfie here. Ready?
Wow, this is happening. All right.
Let's do it.
Are you ready? Awesome. So yeah, this been really also fun way to engage with other individuals. Again, fun is up in the forefront of what we do. That's what keeps us going. And we also get a lot of energy from med students that comes through our pharmacy. And I wanted to let the pharmacists and pharmacy owners out there know that we are prepping these med students who will be future providers for wanting to work with independents only when they go out there. Because, each year we have maybe, 200 graduates or things like that. They're going out and dispersing to all the states in America. And when they come in, we let them jump behind the pharmacy counter and see what's happening there. So they get to experience it.
Let them know what happens after they hit send on an e-script. Or after a prescription's written, it doesn't just magically appear in the patient's home.
And because we're a snack destination in the building, they come in for energy drinks and everything that we use all these encounters to just talk about what we do. And they know they see these things plastered everywhere. And they're like, wow, this new model, like collaboration with pharmacies. Pharmacy is the hub of information. When patients have multiple doctors, those offices would have to call all the other offices to find out what medications they're on. No. What do they have to do? Call the pharmacy.
You never know, those touch points that are just what you do every day. You never know when one of those is going to have an impact that changes a decision next year or 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, based on their personal experience that time at blank pharmacy. So you just never know.
This one student, lastly, I know I'm long-winded, but this one student who's like a big activist, he's just going to be a second-year student now. He came to visit me, even though the classes were done. He was just visiting. And we started to talk about this. And then we was talking about talking about challenges and PBMs. He's like, what is PBM? So I had to tell him what PBM was. And he's like, why aren't they teaching this in med school? We should know about this, what we're getting ourselves into, because we'll be affected by it. Our patients will be affected by it. Like, we need to know that stuff. Would you be interested to join us for a lecture one day? I'm going to organize it. I was like, heck yeah. So, we would like to educate all these students in one setting about what's going on. So I feel like we're very uniquely positioned. I don't know how many pharmacies out there are located inside of School of Medicine, but I feel like if there's anything out there, guys, that you want us to push through with future doctors, like we are your contacts. So utilize us, and we're going to try to spread the word,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, keep those channels of communication open. We're out of time here, so I'm going to let you guys get back to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Look forward to seeing you guys on the road and online. And you know how to get a hold of me anytime I can help.
Absolutely. Thank you, Will.
It was a pleasure. We appreciate you thinking of us, that we could contribute something to our industry and to our colleagues. And that was a good time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond the Scripts, presented by the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we post new content. To stay up to date with all of the latest independent pharmacy news and content, follow Pioneer RX on your preferred social media platform.